You ever have one of those mornings where your Hyundai starts acting like it's possessed? The check engine light goes wonky for no reason. Your blind spot monitor starts warning you about imaginary cars that don't exist. Or your lane keep assist just clocks out for the whole day. Yeah, I've seen it 1,000 times. And here's what really grinds my gears every single time. A customer rolls into my shop, shoulders already slumped, and ready to drop 4 figures on a whole sensor assembly because some YouTube video told him, when it fails, you replace it. That's the thing. Nobody says, hey, maybe it's just dirty. 70% of the time, your warning lights go off due to dirty sensors. The dealerships won't tell you that. And you're definitely not getting that information from the mechanics because they need to stay paid. I'm Dean, your friendly neighborhood mechanic of over 15 years, and you've got nothing to worry about because today I'll be talking about the sensors that fail most often, not because they're faulty, not because they're worn out, but because nobody cleans them. Let's pop open that hood, shall we? Sensor number 1, the brake pad. Wear sensor. This one's kinda personal to me. So a while back, a lady comes with her 2019 Hyundai Tucson, a working mother. Nice ride that she clearly took her sweet time taking care of. She was quite frantic, the kind of frantic where you can see the math happening behind her eyes. Apparently, her brake warning light had been glowing red for 2 weeks. She'd already priced out new rotors, new calipers, the whole 9 yards. She was mentally prepared to drop $2,000 because that's what the internet told her it would take. Now, I've been doing this long enough that I can usually tell at a glance what I'm looking at. But even I did a double take. Her brake pads, they had at least 60% life left, maybe even more. Those pads were going to outlive her financing. So why was the car screaming at her like she was about to die? Well, we have one culprit to thank for that, the brake pad wear sensor. That little clip sits flush against the pad and is designed to complete a circuit when the pad wears down to nothing, except hers wasn't worn down. It was just dirty. Packed with winter salt and grimy, gritty sludge that had baked on over months of driving through slush and brine. That little sensor thought it was metal on metal because it couldn't see through the crust. This is usually the case. So before you take your Hyundai into the shop for your brake pads to be replaced, try cleaning it, would you? The best part? You don't need special tools to get it done. Pop the wheel off, or reach through if you've got smaller hands than mine, which is most people. Locate that little wire clip pressed into the brake pad. Hit it with a brake cleaner and a stiff nylon brush. Not a wire brush. Not sandpaper. Nylon. Scrub until the crud releases, wipe it dry, reinstall the wheel. That's it. That's the whole job. Like 5 minutes of your time. You only have to do that like once a year. That day, that lady watched me do just this. She stood right there in the bay opening, arms crossed, not saying a word. When I finished and the light stayed off, she just stared at the dashboard for a solid 10 seconds. Then she asked me how much. I told her it was on the house. She did come back the next week with a box of donuts and a referral list longer than my arm. That's how you know you've done right by somebody. Now let's talk about a sensor not a lot of people know about. Do you know about sensor number 2, the MAF sensor? Mass airflow sensor? Sounds fancy, right? Sounds like something that belongs in a laboratory or maybe a NASA control room. Well, it's really just a little wire or a little film that sits inside your intake tube and tells your engine computer how much air is coming in so it knows how much fuel to send out. That's it. That's its job. Measure air, report air, go home. Sounds easy, but let me tell you, when it gets dirty, and it will, I promise you it will, it starts lying like crazy. It's just confused, nothing more. A thin layer of oil vapor or carbon or just general atmospheric grime builds up on that little sensing element, and suddenly the numbers are wrong. It tells the computer there's less air than there really is. Your engine, trusting its little partner in crime, responds by sending less fuel. You run lean, you lose power. Or worse, it overcompensates and runs rich, dumping extra gas into the cylinders, burning money straight out your tailpipe. I once had a college kid bring in his Elantra a few years back, early 2000s model, high miles. He was complaining it felt sluggish, and the poor guy was filling up twice a week when it used to be just once. He thought he needed a whole new engine. I'd seen that look before. It's the look of a kid who's about to call his dad and admit he broke his car. I get a few of those from time to time. I cleaned his MAF sensor, charged him for the can of cleaner, like, $8, and sent him on his way. I also taught him how to do it himself, and I'll be teaching you that as well. To clean this little guy, start by unplugging the electrical connector. Then, remove the sensor from the air intake tube. Usually 2 screws, sometimes Torx, sometimes Phillips. Handle it like it's made of glass, because the sensing element inside absolutely is. You don't want to end up replacing that sensor because you couldn't be a little more careful. Do not touch the delicate wire or film. Do not poke it. Do not breathe on it aggressively. Spray it with a dedicated MAF cleaner. Not brake cleaner, not carb cleaner, not your wife's Windex. MAF cleaner only. Let it dry completely. Reinstall. Reset the code if you've got one. And voila, you're good, guys. Do this every 30,000 miles or whenever you change your air filter. If you run a K&N type oiled filter, double the frequency. That particular oil always finds its way onto your MAF sensor, like that's its mission. Clean it twice as often, and your fuel economy will thank you. Sensor number 3, the forward camera. This one drives me absolutely nuts, and I can bet I'm not the only one. Now, it's not because it's difficult to fix or expensive. It drives me nuts because nobody, and I mean nobody, tries connecting the dots. Your lane keep assist starts acting wonky. Your forward collision warning goes off even when there's absolutely nothing in front of you. Or worse, it just stops working entirely. The dashboard lights up like a Christmas tree in July. All these systems, all this expensive technology, and suddenly it's all offline at the same time. People come in convinced their camera module is toast. They're already searching eBay for replacements, already pricing out dealer installations, already mentally preparing for an $800 repair bill. Come on, guys. 9 times out of 10, it's just dirty. It's all smudged and hazy. There are mechanics that would rather throw a scary bill at you than try giving it a good old clean. The forward camera isn't even that hard to find, too. It's up near your rearview mirror, tucked against the windshield in that little triangular housing. You've seen it a good number of times. You just didn't know what it was. If you found it, now it's time to clean it. As usual, you don't need any special tools. You don't even need to remove a single thing. Take a clean microfiber. Emphasis on the word clean here, not the one you used for tire shine last week, not the one that fell on the shop floor. Take that and gently wipe the windshield directly in front of the camera housing, inside and out. That's it. That's literally the whole procedure. You'd be shocked how often the inside of the glass gets hazy, off-gassing from your dashboard, residue from cleaning products, even the smudge from that fast food breakfast you had 3 months ago. It builds up slowly, invisibly, until one day your car decides it can't see well enough to keep you safe. And it's right, it can't. But it's not the camera's fault. It's the glass. You can do this whenever you want. In fact, every time you wash your car, do the procedure. Seriously, make it a habit. Next up is a sensor that always frustrates drivers. Always. Sensor number 4, the parking sensor. You know, parking can be a hassle. And your Hyundai's parking sensor is there to help you out, obviously, but at times it can do a lot more harm than good, especially when it gets dirty. These little ultrasonic pucks live in your bumpers, and they are absolute dirt magnets. Think about what your front bumper sees in a typical week. Road spray, bug guts, tree sap, parking garage residue. And these are all from your usual commute to and back from work. You see, your rear bumper gets it too, plus whatever you kick up driving through puddles. These sensors sit there, day after day, accumulating a thin film of grime. And then one not-so-lovely day, your car starts seeing ghosts. You're trying to back out of a spot, and suddenly the beeping starts. The worst part is how insistent it can be. There's nothing behind you. You checked, you always check, but your Hyundai is convinced you're about to collide with an invisible wall. Or worse, the system just goes silent. Not a single beep. You bump into a shopping cart because your car decided not to tell you it was there. I once had a guy almost refuse delivery of a brand new Palisade because of this. I'm talking absolutely brand new here. 0 miles on this bad boy. Paperwork already penned. He's standing in the delivery bay, they pull the car around, and the rear parking sensors start going crazy at nothing. The salesman is You know, all about making sales. He doesn't have a clue what's going on, so he's there pressing buttons, checking menus, and getting a little sweaty. They called me in, and all I had to do was walk over and wipe that sensor clean. The guy goes home with a brand new Palisade. So always give your Hyundai parking sensor a good clean whenever you can. If you park outside under trees, check them weekly. Tree sap is basically sensor kryptonite. It bonds and confuses the ultrasonic signal. A quick wipe will save you a lot of headache. Sensor number 5. The steering angle sensor. This one's a little more sneaky than the others. So, you're driving straight. Hands off the wheel, highway cruise, just enjoying the miles roll by in full flow. But for some reason, your steering wheel is slightly off-center, just a few degrees. Not enough to panic about, but enough to notice. Or maybe your traction control light flickers on and off for no reason you can explain. Or your car pulls gently to the right, but you've been to 2 different alignment shops, and both of them swear everything's within spec. You just know deep down something is off. Well, my dear Hyundai owners, we have the steering angle sensor to thank for that. That little sensor lives inside the clock spring behind your steering wheel. It's a small component with a big job. It tells your stability control system which way you're trying to go just to keep everything straight. You see, it doesn't get dirty like with road grime or bug splatter, but it still gets confused. Dust, debris, or just years of use can throw off its 0-point calibration. It just kind of forgets where center is. And yeah, it definitely doesn't need replacing. What it needs is a light reset. So, here's how to do just that. On most Hyundais, you can recalibrate this yourself without any special tools. Find a straight, flat road with minimal crown. Center your steering wheel perfectly. Come to a complete stop. Turn the wheel all the way to the left lock, hold it for a second, then all the way to the right lock, then back to center. The system often relearns its position from this exercise. Some models require a scan tool for a full reset, but this trick works more often than you'd think. I once had this customer pull in with an Azera. Remember those? Big sedan, comfortable ride, basically a rolling living room. He'd had an alignment done at a national chain, but the wheel was still crooked. They redid it for free. Still crooked. They did it a 3rd time and told him it must be a manufacturer defect. He brought it to me for an engine tune-up before mentioning his little alignment problem. 15 minutes with a scan tool told me the sensor was perfectly functional, just lost. A quick recalibration, and he was driving straight again. He asked me why the chain shop couldn't do that. I didn't have a good answer. You don't need to do this recalibration often. It isn't routine maintenance. It's more of a targeted fix when things feel wonky. But if you're already having suspension work done, it's worth asking your mechanic to check the sensor's calibration. Sensor number 6. The humidity/temperature sensor. Ever notice how your Hyundai's automatic climate control sometimes acts like it's guessing? Like it's operating with a climate from a whole other continent? I'm not talking about a slight miscalibration here. It's genuinely guessing here. Blasting cold air when it's mild outside. Refusing to defog the windshield when you can barely see through the glass, switching between recirculation and fresh air like it can't make up its mind. That's usually your in-cabin humidity sensor or ambient temperature sensor. This little guy lives somewhere near your rearview mirror base or sometimes inside the climate control panel itself. It's got a tiny fan inside, smaller than a dime, that pulls air across a sensor element. When that fan gets clogged with dust, and it inevitably will, the sensor stops reading accurately. Your AC begins second-guessing everything. You've got to get your hands a bit dirty to fix this. You've got to locate the sensor first. On most Hyundais, look for a tiny grill near the base of the rearview mirror, or on the dashboard near the windshield. Some models hide it in the overhead console. Once you find it, use compressed air gently to blow out the intake. Don't shove anything inside. Don't poke it with a toothpick. Don't vacuum it. Compressed air, short bursts, from a slight angle. A soft brush can help dislodge dust bunnies if they prove to be stubborn. You've just got to sacrifice like 3 minutes of your time to blow all that dust out, and you'll be good to go. Do this every couple of years, or whenever your automatic climate control starts making weird decisions. If you smoke in the car, or have pets that shed more often. That little fan works hard. Reward it with clean air and you'll be good. Now, I'll tell you about a sensor that most Hyundai owners neglect, and it totally messes up their fuel economy. This is sensor number 7, the knock sensor. Do you know that your Hyundai engine can be paranoid? How? Well, let me explain. It all starts with your car's knock sensor that listens for detonation, that rattling sound that usually means your engine is unhappy with the fuel or the timing. Think of that guy as an ear bolted directly to your engine block, listening for trouble. When it gets covered in oil residue, coolant film, or general engine grime, it gets hypersensitive. Every little noise sounds like an explosion. A valve closes normally? Knock. A piston moves like it's supposed to? Knock. The sensor panics, sends a signal to the computer, and the computer pulls timing to protect the engine. You lose power. You lose fuel economy. Your car feels sluggish and you can't figure out why. You're now dealing with one paranoid engine. Most mechanics will sell you the idea that this sensor needs to be replaced, or worse, they'll hand you an engine replacement bill. Well, you definitely don't need them. One time, this guy comes into the shop with a Santa Fe Sport, maybe 2015 or 2016. This guy was convinced he needed a whole engine rebuild. His knock sensor code had been stored for months. A dealership quoted him $7,000. Yep, 7,000. I, on the other hand, had a look at this sensor. It was literally dripping with oil from a minor valve cover seep. All it needed was a $50 gasket and an hour of labor. I also gave the sensor a little clean, and it cleared that code right up. So, yeah, you've got to learn how to clean this little guy. The toughest part of this entire procedure is locating this sensor. Location varies by model, but it's usually bolted to the engine block somewhere in the middle, often underneath the intake manifold. Access can be tight. You might need to remove some plastic covers or the air intake tubing to reach it. Once you find it, spray it with an electrical contact cleaner or MAF cleaner. Wipe away any oil residue with a lint-free cloth. Here's the important part. If oil is leaking onto it, fix the leak first. Otherwise, you're just cleaning tomorrow's mess today. This should clear that code right up. This isn't some routine procedure. No, do this only when it triggers a code or you're already in there doing gaskets. But if you've got an oil leak anywhere near the top of your engine, your knock sensor is living on borrowed time. Look, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying sensors never fail. They do a lot of times. Electronics will always have lifespans. Circuit boards get cranky. Connectors corrode. The heat cycles and vibration under your hood are brutal. And eventually, everything mechanical reaches the end of its road. But here's what I've learned in 15 years of digging through engine bays. Most sensors don't die of old age. They die of neglect. Push this button, push that button, get results. And when these results stop happening, we assume the machine is broken. We don't consider that it might just be dirty. So here's my challenge to you. Next time your Hyundai throws a code or lights up a warning, don't immediately start shopping for replacement parts. Ask yourself, when's the last time anyone cleaned that thing? When's the last time you even looked at it?